Hey, what's up? This is Del Jones from the band PunkBordello, and you are watching the PunkBordello podcast. I want to thank you for being here, and I also want to mention that the next song that we release is called "Hotter." It releases on all streaming platforms May 6th of 2025, and you can find that early before release for $5 on Bandcamp. You can listen to it about 3 times before you'll hit a paywall. But that's just fair game. If you want to see it and download it before it releases, you can give us $5 or whatever you want to support the podcast, to support us as a band. And then you can also do the same with the next release, Take the L, which normally would be like June 16th. And that one would be $10 or pay what you want whenever or whatever you want to throw our way. But we want to thank you for being here, listening to the local underground artists, the heart of our city, our country. When we sit down with this next guest, I really hope you enjoy it. Share it on your socials, help us grow. We have some really killer guests that are going to be coming up, and I'm really excited to do this podcast. So thanks everybody for watching. Keep doing that shit Chicago style, you know what I'm saying? All right. Okay, here we are. All right. I might have to trim that intro down a little bit. That's what I was trying to do before I just got off of work and everything, so I just had to fly home real quick. But here with us now, we have the man, the myth, the legend. I've been watching you for a long time. I just wanted no creepy shit, but I've just I saw you play with Night Spice. I was in between tours, and I mean, I just it was like a smaller kind of like turnout and everything like that. So it was intimate. Like I could be. Yes, it was. Yeah. But I was there, and I got to see you do your thing up close and personal. And I just gotta say, like, drummer to drummer, musician to musician, I was fucking floored. As an immediate fan, I showed up at one of your DJ gigs. I think it was while you were still trying to like build up a presence with the residency. But I mean, I've been like kind of keeping in tune with everything, and you are fucking just you're flying, man. You're doing great. You inspire me as a drummer and as a musician, and you have ever since the first time that I saw you fucking kill shit at that Elgin show. And I wanted to formally introduce myself. I mean, I think as musicians, it gets really difficult. I mean, I know like I don't really want to talk to anybody before I go on, and that's just like a personal preference because I kind of gotta like put on the game face and get ready and everything like that. Get ready to blow minds. But I also saw that like you've been building your name for quite some fucking time, and we'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, I was almost like a little bit intimidated, but at the same time, it's like, oh, let me just like not impede this man's space. Let me, come forward and reach out to him when I have something that can benefit us both. In this kind of regard. And I've always had this podcast in mind. I tried to start it years ago when I lived in Austin, Texas, before I started touring, and no bites then for interviews. But lately, I put a shot out in the dark about it, and it just started growing. People started coming on. But,
they say the squeaky wheel gets the grease,
Yeah, true. That's why I'm kind of like making a lot of noise at this moment in time now, because someone had brought it up to me and was like, "Oh, dude, you speak very, very intelligently. Man. You should start a podcast." And I'm like, "Well, that was always on the table." So, but before I go into the weeds here, I just gotta say, so you have like a super like illustrious past. Like I saw a post recently from you playing in Warped Tour. So, like, tell us about your background. Like, where the fuck did you come from, and how come I didn't know about you sooner?
Well, I'm old. Let's talk about that. Yeah, I've been grinding for a long time, man. Been playing music. I mean, pretty much forever. I was playing on pots and pans as a little kid.
Yeah.
Listening to Neil and Rush. Led
Yeah.
Zeppelin and Bonham.
Uh-huh.
Even if Van Halen, Alex Van Halen doesn't get talked about enough. It's
True.
my dad got me into some pretty cool music. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and there was some a little bit more progressive stuff that he was listening to growing up, like with me
Right.
growing. And he, just here, listen, vinyls, cassette tapes, and then my first, and this matters, but my first compact disc, my first CD ever,
Uh-huh.
311, the Blue Album.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know this because it's weird, man. But 311 is my favorite band of all time, by far.
Okay.
Like by far. So you have 311 here, and then at number 2 and 2A, let's just say 3, because they're tied, right? So you can't be
Right.
at
Yeah.
2, you have 2 at 3. John Mayer and Stevie Wonder.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
But
All right.
311's my favorite band of all time. Chad Sexton has one of the best grooves out of any drummer to ever live, man. Like that guy he just made funk drumming fun. And when I listened to that Blue Album, I was like, okay, this is starting to make a little bit more sense. So I got my first drum set ever, 1998. Victor Salazar, sold it to my mom. I don't know if you're from the Chicago scene, if you're a drummer at all, you know who Victor Salazar is. He owned, he worked at the drum pad in Palatine. He owned Victor
There
for a
it
while.
is.
Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about. And then he
Yeah.
works with Jimmy Chamberlain of Smashing Pumpkins,
Oh,
does
wow.
clinics.
Okay.
We just did a clinic with Todd Zuckerman of Styx. I learned so much. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Oh, lovely.
But yeah, as a drummer, man, like I've been playing for a long time. I've been playing, some of these kids that I see at the bar these days, were born in 2002, and I started playing
Yeah.
drums before that. So it's
Oh
just
my
like,
God. Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, DJ Mark," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like
2002 was actually the year. So it was the year I picked up guitar, and then my relationship with the drums was always kind of like taboo. I come from like a traditionally like broken home, so like that music was my whole escapism kind of thing. So my mom was like kind of in this fucking religious psychosis, right? And so the only time when I would get caught smoking, the only time I would get to be free and go somewhere was if I was going to church. And then so I was always like fucking tinkering around on the drums and everything as soon as I could get. It was like so taboo.
right.
So like I I gotta say, your feel, like it's like the combination of like the rudiments that you're doing. You know what you're doing with a paradiddle diddle. I know I see it often, and like most people don't give a fuck about the
I
technical
love that
jargon,
you
and that's all.
that because the paradiddle diddle, I don't even know if it exists, but it's one of my favorite things on planet Earth. Um, and I love that you said that. Yeah, man, like drumming is fun. It's supposed to be
Yeah,
fun.
it
You know,
is. Yeah. But
people
like the way you put it together, and you make it such a solid kind of like force, like your drum solo is fucking electric, dude.
I
Like
was
I'm telling you, like
what I was doing there.
I was like the way that I was watching you, the reason why I liked it so much is like because there's this whole world, and this is like part of like my whole MO in PunkBordello and like what I'm kind of experimenting with. And it's uh, there's three different worlds in Chicago that kind of don't fuck with each other, but are very like close-knit communities amongst themselves. And when we kind of like challenge the borders of what is expected, that's kind of like the next stage in music, is to kind of be all encompassing and kind of switch
Genres
between them. And you were the first person that I saw already doing it.
That's cool.
And it comes down like I feel like I get looks when I talk about like DJing and like actually playing live instruments together, but that is like the logical next step forward because you have like Lady Gaga has like a whole fucking like band that she brings on
Right.
tour. Roddy Ricch even has a whole fucking band that he brings on tour.
Most of those artists do.
Because it sounds better. It's an
Sounds so
experience,
much
you
better.
know? And the thing is like to shun it isn't the way. To embrace it and make them all complement each other is kind of the next way forward. And you're kind of like already fucking at the front of it, you know, because
Oh, I
it's like
appreciate that.
I mean, it's not even like, you know, I'm not even trying to be stepping on your dick. Sorry, this is a musician show. We swear sometimes. But I'm not even trying to be doing that. What I'm saying is like just basically that it's inspirational because it also helps like bridge the gap in between generations for to set the stage for the next way to interpret it.
Okay,
And
so
so yeah,
let's talk,
go ahead.
let's talk about that for a second, actually, because like we can keep going from where we were, right?
Right.
Talking about 311, like
Right. Yeah.
late 90s, right? And I get my
Right.
first hit in 98. And then I got into like a rap slash like new metal phase where I was
Right.
listening to all of the rap, man. Anything from Juvenile to Ja Rule to Ludacris to Twista to Exhibit. But then
Yeah.
that new metal, man, the Slipknot, the Korn
Yeah.
and Limp Bizkit were everything to me in probably like the year 99, 2000, right?
Yeah.
Like you get significant other and into chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water, and you're like, what is this?
I remember that album well.
And I'm gonna reference this right here, My Way, man. When I hear My Way, I see The Rock, Stone Cold, WrestleMania 17 promo, like it plays in my head, you know.
Yeah.
I kind of, you know, got into all that. And then I became a pop punk emo slash hardcore kid. And then that became like the whole screamo thing.
And so I've been meaning to get to this question right here because you just played I like a packed fucking show at the House of Blues opening up for the
Yes.
Used, right?
That the album that they played is one of my favorite albums of all time. Lies
Well,
for Liars is my favorite Used album.
it launched all of that entire genre. Like I feel like My Chemical Romance. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I don't even remember I don't know the metadata of that fucking album, but I do know that the Used kind of set the stage for My Chemical Romance and that entire era of like emo bands to come, which is where I kind of like went in because that was what my older sister was into at the time, and so that's where I grabbed my music taste.
Yeah, man.
So
So we go from listening, dude. I grew up listening to like Mariah Carey and Boys to Men, right? And
right, yeah,
then like Britney Spears, right? And like all that
yeah,
pop
of course.
stuff. And then you go from there to like 311 and Rage Against the Machine and Red Hot Chili Peppers and Sublime. And then
Right,
because I've already listened to Bonham and Neil Peart and you know what I mean, Carl
right,
Palmer.
yeah,
I've already listened to those guys. So now you start moving forward, and now I've listened to the pop, and now I've listened to the funk, like 90s rap rock, which, like I said, Sublime, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rage Against the Machine,
of
311,
course.
Incubus, those kinds of
Yes.
bands. And then I move into the new metal, and then you move into the pop, the punk like Bad Religion, Propaganda. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I love those bands.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then you go from there, and then you find out that Stevie Wonder is the greatest thing to ever happen.
He
Ever.
like he's literally building like a cinematic masterpiece with just audio.
I didn't really. It's funny, man. I put on a Stevie Wonder cassette tape in the van because the blue, like not the Bluetooth, the tape that had the cord for the iPod wasn't working. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, let's put in this cassette tape. And I'm like, oh man, I know this song. And I'm like, oh, I know this song. And I knew every song. And I was just like, this is all Stevie Wonder. And, you know, then I got into the whole like Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, like, oh, like music, like it's art. It doesn't matter who made it or what it sounds like. If you gravitate towards it, if you like it, there's space in this world for everyone and everything. And I'm not going to go into the negative side of things, but the positive side of things is, that's what the world is about. Like, we can do whatever we want. We're free to express ourselves. So it's like, we can talk about the bands that I've been in. My first band was probably a ska band. I don't know. And then the next band after that was a pop punk band, I imagine. And then I started playing in Behold the Pale Horse, which was basically Beneath the Sash and Sky, but with different members and a little bit more metal. And then we started getting more like metalcore, and Beneath the Sash and Sky ended up becoming Flowers for Dorian.
Right.
Which Flowers for Dorian was like the band that like kind of made me into like I'm dude, I used to be such a dickhead, man. I used to be not humble, and anybody I grew up with, like if they haven't talked to me in a long time, be like, oh, that guy was a dick. I was just trying to find myself, man. Like I grew up with not a lot of love, so I was just, give me love, man. Give me love. I need more of it.
Right.
I wasn't very humble back in the day, and I wasn't even that good. That's what's funny. Like I was good at what I do, but as you grow up, you start to realize that it's not about other people. It's about you and what you want to do and how you want to express yourself. And it's not about comparing to other people. How can you make yourself better than you every day for the rest of your life?
That 100%. And honestly, I feel like I have just recently kind of come to that realization. Um, like I'm out in the boonies right now. I'm in Central Illinois. I won't exactly like say where because
Okay.
not everybody is my fucking friend, and not everybody likes me. But I digress. I came out here and it was like the perfect time to be working on the record that we're working on, and I've also had to kind of like preoccupy myself in other ways because normally I would just produce everything myself, but I mean my live band mates bring so much to the table. I have to be able to like take keep myself preoccupied with other shit so that they get a chance because they're busy as well. They have their other bands and everything like that,
Right.
so that they really get a chance to do what they want to do with this record. Because from the sessions we have had so far, it's like what they thought of was so much better than what I would have thought of.
Okay.
So removing myself from kind of the equation and seeing like what can I do for everybody while also still kind of like promoting myself and shit.
Yeah.
And just going back to like what you said, like it's it's about you and what you want to do. And I think I really have started to kind of like dig into just waking up every day, putting the time in, you know, making myself better, like
Work
body,
hard.
mind, and soul first. And like, working out. I started taking
Yeah.
creatine recently. So hopefully the muscles start like, it's always been difficult for me to like put on muscle because I'm like very much like a runner kind of body.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
like, I'm kind of digging my heels into that. I'm, eating I'm pretty much like cooking every meal, and then just I don't even have a fucking TV in my place because I'm just focused on, pumping out these songs and fucking like trying to market them effectively. And then the whole podcast is, a recent development that
Yeah. I
is
see.
honestly, I'm glad more people are interested in it now rather as opposed to when I lived in Texas, because life had its intentions with me. I had no idea what was around the corner, but I mean, I had some really cool experiences, but I also had to come to terms with the realization that I still wasn't shit. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's liberating because it's like, okay, so like now I can sit down and think about what really matters to me, and I can think about where I really want to see myself. And it's easy for us to get like kind of caught up in comparing ourselves to others, and I've had to like kind of scale myself back with that because honest, I mean, I'm going to be like full disclosures. I'll see your shit and I'll be like, fuck, man. Like I wish I was doing that, but like I've kind of come to
Take
enjoy.
inspiration. Don't let it. Okay, so dude, I have the world's worst ADHD, but I do make points that when you say a couple things that I do want to touch on them. So I kind of
Yeah, absolutely take it over. We're
So,
both
yeah. So
neurodivergent
you said
here.
something about like the people that you're playing with, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I had that drum class with Todd Zuckerman, drummer of Styx.
Uh-huh.
That man changed my life, man. I don't know what it was about the master class, the drumming. It was gibberish to me. He played too fast. Like, I hope he watches this so that he knows. Like, he he just gets really excited and he just wants. Oh, listen to this, and you're just like, buddy, can you please slow it down just a little bit more for us in the back that can't. So the drumming, I honestly I won't lie, I didn't get much out of that part. But oh my God, his outlook on life and just the way he talked about things. So his biggest thing, I have this sheet here and it's hilarious, right? Look at this. Like this is what I wrote down from the class, and I want to talk about it.
Okay, go for
No
it.
fear. No, because this is a big thing. No fear, no judgment. And what that means is when you're playing a show, when you're performing, don't have fear and don't have judgment, because you don't want the people that you're playing for to have fear for you or to judge you. The biggest thing is your crowd wants you to succeed. They're paying money, even if they're not paying money. They're paying their time to come out and watch you play. There might be one or two or three in the crowd who go, "Oh man, I hope this guy sucks. I hope this guy sucks so we can make fun of him." Oh my gosh. Those people have literally, I pretend they don't exist. They don't waste any airspace in my life. Those people, that's I don't see them. So the rest of the people that are there, they want you to succeed. They want you to put on a good show. They want you to have fun. They're there to have fun. They're there to have a good time. Fun. The word fun. If you're nervous walking up to play, get that out of here, man. Get it out of here. What are you nervous for? You like playing drums. Like, hold on. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Because if I don't finish this, I won't finish it. So the whole point of playing music is to have fun. If you're not having fun, then you need to figure out why you're not having fun. So it's like, get out of your own way. Relax. Focus on what you can control. The biggest thing is if you're playing a gig and you're trying to lock in with your guy and you're looking over, right? And then you're like, oh man, I forgot to call Nick back. Oh no, I forgot to call Nick back. Dude, Nick's not at this show. He's not on. He's not in the crowd. Get that out of here. Cut that out of here. Boom, boom, boom. Nick's gone. You'll remember about Nick later. Nick has nothing to do with making these people happy. Get that out of here. Focus on what you can control. Good energy. So there's big things. Be on time, which I have since I have the world's worst time management, right?
Right.
Be prepared. Learn the music. If somebody wants you to play something, immediately start listening to it. Like, what are you doing? Like, learn the music.
Right.
The correct tools for the job. Okay, you just took the job. Do you have what you need to succeed? Nail the gig. Well, you already have everything. You're prepared. You're there on time. You got the tools. So you're going to nail the gig. Now we're going to touch on what you were talking about. Thank you for giving me the time to get to where we needed to get to.
Of course.
The whole point is to walk into the gig, and when you leave, is everybody that you played with happy? Do they love you, or did they go, he kind of went in it for himself. He played a couple of fills that didn't make sense. He was playing for him. He wasn't playing for us. He wasn't playing for the songs. Make sure that everyone in the crowd, and especially everyone on stage, your sound engineer, your techs, are they happy? Are they happy with you? Are they happy with your performance? Are they happy with how you made them feel? Did they lock in because you were just, you were there, you were ready? That means more than anything, man.
Yeah. Well, real quick, I wanted to make a note of something that you said. My ADHD kind of kicked in. I forgot what the fuck I was talking about because you hit me like a ton of bricks, bro. Well, let's see. So
I get fun. Right when I said fun is where you kind of was like, I said, no fear of judgment. I said, if you're not having fun, if you're nervous.
Right. I remember now. Okay. Great. Thank you. So I actually saw that come to fruition when I learned that I was playing in Deep Ellum. I was playing in Dallas, and it was the second show of the tour. And the night before we had played in Austin.
Okay.
Right. And my bandmates, they were based out of New York. I would fly out there to rehearse, and then fucking, I was based in Austin at the time, and next thing when I know, back from rehearsals. Next week we're going on the road. First show in Austin, fucking terrible because I was following their energy, and their energy was very anxious and oh my god, I hope this is right, and is the merch table set up, and like this, that, and the other thing. And the next night, in Dallas, I took it upon myself to do a little experiment, and I like went up to them each right before we went on, like this moment, and then fucking we're playing, and I just looked at them all individually in our own little conversations and went and like, hey, you ready to kill it tonight? Blah! You know what I mean? Just like some dumb fucking cliche drummer type energy shit. And
all about it.
From that moment forward, I knew it, like after that show, from that moment forward, I knew that that was what I needed to do, because they're two in their own thoughts. You can't rely on them. Somebody needs to take the reins and show them how to have fun with what they're doing, because that's the whole fucking reason we're out there in the first place. You know what I mean? Like,
let go of the anxious energy. Like played a show last night with my band Night Spice, right? Which you
right.
talked about. And we played a sold out show with Lucky Boys Confusion at Rock House. Cool thing about Rock House, used to be called Clearwater Theater. My old band Flowers for Dorian, man, we probably played there 100 times. I played my first show there with Beneath This Ashen Sky, opening up for Still Remains and Shadows Fall. I think this was 2004. So to play in that venue 21 years later was pretty cool. But last night I just hung out. Like, I don't even think I thought about playing until maybe like 5 minutes before like we went to like go on stage and like put on the pack. When we played House of Blues, I had a couple of friends there. My friends were like literally like, hey, don't you have to go get ready? And I was like, I'm ready. It's fun. I don't need to do this like, oh my gosh, I gotta get ready for this performance. Like, it's not like that anymore. And I think it's just because I enjoy what I do. And really, the whole point of why I'm there is to make people happy, make people smile. So it's just like,
right. Yeah.
So it kind of changed the way that I approach things.
And you're 100% right for doing so. However, one of the things, so I played at Rock House this last December on their like local night thing, and that was unfortunately that I did everything that I possibly could. I ran ads. I talked to everybody that I know about it, and one of the things that made me kind of like rethink what I was doing was the fact that nobody showed up. You know what I mean? And unfortunately for everybody else, we played fucking like exactly what I was going for, moving in that direction. We still used some parts of our old set and everything, and we're gonna switch that up. But I mean, full disclosure, I felt like I had completely dropped the ball, and that's like I was nervous at that show because I was worried about just fucking letting everybody down, man. And I mean, that happens sometimes. I'm a big boy. I've been doing this a long time, so I'll roll with the punches. But it did force me to like take a step back and really kind of configure, how I was doing what I was doing, and kind of just it was a signal to me that I should kind of like take a step back to lunge forward a little bit, and really just kind of fucking, work on what other people have access to right now, because we're playing a lot of songs that hadn't been released yet. And what we were doing last year is completely different from what we're doing, what the direction we're working in now, because I'm really trying to like hit hard, some more elements of that house kind of theme. I would just say, like, what would be your notes for anybody who feels that fucking dread of playing to nobody? Because I can take it on the chin. I've done it many times before. I played like I played like sold out shows, and I've played fucking shows with nobody there. So what would your message be to someone in that kind of paradigm that was just like, fuck, dude, should I just hang it all up? Like,
No, man, it's the same mantra I've had since day one. One person, 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people. I'll be honest with you, 10 people look more attractive than 10,000 people. 10,000 people is a faceless crowd. It's hard to connect unless
yeah,
they're all singing in unison and jumping up and down. Bigger crowds can sometimes get a little you disconnect from the energy of why you're doing it. Do it for you, and if you do it for you, it don't matter, man. Go up there and use it as a way to, hey, like, we're gonna record, and see what mistakes we have. Like, one of my biggest things is record the set, and then within 24 hours watch it so that you can, critique it. One of my biggest things about musicians, and if we're talking about what people can do to kind of get out of their own way,
right,
don't be afraid to like listen to your own stuff. Don't be afraid to like watch your own videos. My biggest thing to people, and that's why I made like kind of a jerk comment, that people who are mean just don't occupy my airspace.
right,
They just don't, because I don't want to appease them. Like, you're
right.
mean, like, go away. Like, I just want love, dude. ELE. Everybody love everybody. I might not like the person that I'm talking to because of the way that they live their life or the way that they do things,
Right.
but I'll love them and I'll respect them. And if, like, if you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. Like,
Yeah.
I just want everybody to be happy. It's not possible. It's not. But
Yeah. I
but,
mean,
but that's what I want. So, like, the biggest thing, that's what I said, get out of your own way. That's the first thing. Get out
yeah.
of your own way. You make an excuse, and then you make another excuse, and then you make another excuse, and then before you know it, you're just making excuses. You're
Right.
not taking accountability for what's in front of you, for the mistakes that you've made. Dude, I messed up at Sideouts last night on a transition because one of
Mhm.
my best friends, who's also a DJ, like, came up and I did a thing and my delay was all the way up and I fucked up the transition. And he looked at me and he was like, "That's not it, bro." And I was like, "Hey, man, I fucked up." I was like, and I looked at him and I was like, this is how you feel when I come up on stage,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
and
no, I feel you.
own your shit is one of the biggest things, man. And then do something about it. My biggest thing is, if there's a problem, figure out what it is. What's the problem?
Right.
Once you find out what the problem is, don't talk about the problem anymore. Talk about the solution. How can
Right.
you fix that problem?
Right.
If you can't fix the problem, then you shouldn't be talking about it anymore. Out of sight, out of mind is a big thing.
Yeah.
Don't be focused on things that aren't in front of you, because it makes it hard to focus on what's in front of you. It
Right.
makes it hard to focus on the goals. You think I want to get out of bed every day and reach out and try and find gigs and put on a smiling face and be like, "Hey, my name is Marc Esses, local / international entertainer. Happy all the
Yeah. No, it's
time."
fucking daunting. I
Woo!
know, bro. It's like my least favorite part of being a musician is the
But,
whole,
this is what we do. But this is what we do. You
it's
get
true.
the door
Yes.
and you make people smile, man. And
Right. Yeah.
like, a lot of people don't realize, like, how tough it is sometimes to do what we do. Oh, they're just on stage having a great time. Dude, sometimes I'm not having a great time.
I
I've
always tell people,
been here. I love you. Thank you. But I got stuff going on. I'm not having a great time.
I
But I'll work through it. I'll get to it.
Real quick, let me throw this in here. I always tell people that being a musician is the only job where the payoff is not actually getting paid as much as it's getting up there to play and you have the best experience of your life, and then you can't make it sustainable or make it work
Yes.
without also it's another task. Sometimes they'll hold your pay hostage. Sometimes they'll I mean, the people will always try to undermine you and your value, and sometimes even you'll have just played a show and even if it's like a guarantee, and then, the venue owner's like, oh, they'll try to lowball you and like, what did we say
Yeah.
again? And it's just like, no,
Yeah.
my guy's got to get paid, bro. Like, no, you said 350, we get, or X amount, whatever.
It's one of my favorite moments ever. Dude, it was like a Spider-Man pointing moment, but I had this one woman come up to me and was like, "You're the bingo guy." And I was like, "Yeah, I host bingo." And the one guy who was like standing like right here but wasn't like in the thing was like, "No, he's the DJ." And then you see this dude just come hot out of left field. Dude, this is like one of the best drummers I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, and they're all like, wait, he's a drummer? Wait, he's a bingo guy? Wait, he's a DJ? I'm just an entertainer. I like entertaining. I like making people happy. I like showing up and then opening the door. You're gonna get the one or two people who go, oh, fuck this guy. Well, you know what? Fuck you too. Seriously.
Yeah.
I love you. I love you, but fuck you too.
Exactly.
But then the rest of the people are like, dude, he's here. Oh man, like whew. People.
Real quick, I got something to ask you before we go
Yeah.
too far down this tangent. So where did on that note, where did DJing come into play? So I assume you had already been like a metal drummer, or was it just kind of all
I'll do some name dropping here. Let's go back in the past. So let's Flowers for Dorian was like 2005, 2006. So we're coming up on the 20 year. Which
oh, wow.
I'll make a little bit of time for that before we end. I'll make a little bit of time to talk about that because there are some things I want to promote.
Okay.
But Flowers for Dorian was like 2005, 2006 to 2009. And then most of 2009, I was rocking with Dr. Manhattan. And then I joined up with Grant Harris, who was Breathe Electric, and then Gold House. And I did that for a while. Playing with Breathe Electric and Gold House, playing with Grant Harris, and then James Fearbacher, who was the bass player of Flowers, was also a bass player for Grant. We played to a click. So I had been playing with ears to a click 2010, which other drummers weren't doing that. They weren't.
Only in like the last like 10 years has that really become like the industry standard, and fans just have become like used to that.
So in 2010, I started playing to a click. Well, like I said, I'm going to do some name dropping. My buddy Brian Edwards came over and jammed with me, but with his decks. So I'm jamming on my drums and he's DJing, and I was like, this is cool. But I don't know. It just never came to fruition there. But then one of my other buddies, Lawrence Nichols, DJ Snickle Fritz, was in a band called Winner Takes All. One of my best friends, good dude. Him and I started drum DJing. Like he would DJ and I would drum.
Right.
And started playing shows. Started playing out Penny Road Pub, Side Outs, the Benton Street Tap in Woodstock. We just started playing out. And then I started playing with my buddy Dan Spiker. He's done some DJing for some bigger artists. He played with like Bubba Sparks, Alexander King. He's kind of over in the Woodstock scene. He's got like he does some booking and he does the DJing and stuff like that. We just actually did Shamrocked in Woodstock and it was great. It was great. We did like a power hour. It was so much fun. We had a video board and the lasers and the whole thing.
Nice.
But basically, I got to a point where I bought an iPad and then I started kind of DJing on the iPad because I could pull up my Spotify account.
Right. Okay.
So I could DJ with Spotify through this app called Pacemaker. So basically, when I would drum with DJs and they didn't have the song that somebody would request, I could pull it up and I could play it and I could DJ. And I started doing that. And then I was like, can I do this? So I started DJing and drumming at the same time. Dude, I was doing the iPad until like 2022. DJs hate me, man. I'm gonna tell you, DJs hate me because I'm not your traditional DJ. I don't use headphones. I don't beat match without the sync button. I'm just your, hey, I'm gonna make sure this sounds good, and then I'm gonna go entertain the crowd for about 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna come back, and then I'm gonna mix up a new thing. DJs hate me because I'm not your normal DJ. I've been entertaining for a really long.
That's why I like you, though, because you're doing something that is forward thinking, man.
I think that's fun, that I enjoy. I don't care what these other DJs think. Is the crowd having a good time? Am I getting booked? Am I having fun? I wish more people would be willing to have a conversation with me, to know that, like, I'm just a guy trying to smile, trying to eat, trying to make a living, and just trying to have fun.
Right. And so, like, real quick, I did come to your do you still have the residency at the Vixen?
So Vixen and I do like a once a month kind of thing. I was actually there Friday night.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, because I saw pictures from that, I'm pretty sure, and then that was fucking packed. And I mean, when you were still building it, I went there and I felt like you saw me and you're like wondering like what the fuck this kid wanted. I saw a couple of looks from you. And I was just like, let me not bother him, but I just want to let him know I'm here to support him because I'm a fan, you know? And then I just watching that like build, and you like still steady posting about it, and it just looks more packed and more packed and more packed. And it's like, yes, like I am among what is going on here? Sorry, my screen just went black for a second.
No, you're good.
I am among the people that I don't have any desire to take food out of anybody else's mouth, and B, if somebody is if somebody's doing better than me, or if somebody is doing well at all, I want to encourage that, because at the end of the day,
inspiration from it.
Exactly.
Build them up to do better. If I could teach anybody anything, you want your people to succeed. You want your friends to succeed. You don't want. First off, the answer should always be yes. Do you want to jam with us? Yes. Do you want to play these drums? Yes. Do you want to come up on stage and do this thing? Yes. The answer should always be yes. We're musicians. That's the point. The point is to play music. The point is to have fun. So if you're like, hey, I'm going to go up and play with that band, and one of your friends goes, they're not your friend.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
True.
If you go, yo, I'm going to go up and play with that band, and your friend's like, fuck yeah, you are. That's your fucking friend, dude. That's your friend. You want to support your people. You know, your friend goes, you know, I'm going to go for my real estate license. Okay, I'm going to be an asshole for a second, right? But whether or not you think they can or can't, don't fucking kill their dream. Don't do it. Tell them, yeah, man, you got it. I'm here for you. What do you need? Do you need me to share the post? Do you need me to send some text messages? What can I do to help you? What can I do to get you there? If that's not your first thought, man, then there's some reevaluation that needs to be done, because you should be gassing up your friends. You should be gassing up your people. You should want your friends to succeed, because let me tell you, as I succeed, the people who are with me are going to ride to the top with me. As I climb the ladder.
It doesn't even have to be a direct kind of thing, like he helped me do this or that. It could literally just be like, you know, fucking I knew his name from this, and fucking they play similar styles of music, and it just like same area, same difference, same fucking, you know, kind of vibe goals, you know, and just being part of it and being willing to kind of just spread the camaraderie is good enough to mix people have both names in their mouth. You don't get anywhere without cultivating some sort of community. And I mean, this is just kind of like a small reference, but Dane Cook, when he had the most fucking, you know, the most successful comedy album of all time, how he did it was through cultivating personal relationships on fucking MySpace. You know what I mean? And that was like that's a great precedent, a great anecdote for where we're at now as musicians, because obviously we have to engage with the socials. We have a lot more hats to wear and responsibilities to take on, and that has its own sets of adversity. But the main takeaway is coming back to it and having that love for music, because for me, even if it's bad for me, I couldn't fucking put it down. And so that's like why I have to continue trudging forward and trying to continue to better myself and better my pursuits, because I mean, fucking we're all gonna come up together, and the example that you set, other people are going to latch on to that and use that as part of their personality. So what kind of legacy do you want to leave? You know, you want to leave one of
positive energy. You want to create magical moments with people. You want people to feel good. You want people to go home and be like, dude, I went and I saw this DJ tonight. There wasn't a lot of people there, but the guy was having fun and he wanted us to have fun. And I could feel that. And you know what? I appreciate that. I go and watch musicians and I can tell when they're phoning it in. I can tell when they're having a good time. Dude, there's nothing like going and watching a band or a musician or a performer or a DJ who's just like, I want to be here.
Right. And I mean, the thing is like sometimes you're not gonna want to be there. Sometimes it's still gonna be a thing that you have to do.
The best performers can leave it at the door. You're still gonna know to be there.
Right. And then there's always like kind of a point in the set where like the tide changes and you're like, what the fuck am I bitching about to myself? Like this, I love this. I never have, even if I'm playing to nobody, like I'm like, while it's happening, while I'm performing, it's still just like, it's still divine, no matter what way you put it, whether it's practice with lights or whether you're playing a huge fucking packed crowd. Like I always tell my bandmates, like there's the moment before and the moment after. Boys, I'll see you in the moment after.
Your internet's been a little weird for I don't know, the past few minutes.
I have had you clip a little bit.
Okay, so yeah, you've been cutting out here and there. My screen's been fun, so yeah. I don't know if it's my internet. My internet seems to be fine. Sorry, I was watching some WrestleMania.
It's all good. It's all good. But how are you doing now? How's your connection?
It's probably fine. Yeah, man. So just go ahead.
Real quick before we trail off or anything. You said that there's going to be some stuff that you want to some stuff you want to promote. So let's hit that.
Like I play in this band called Downstate. I'm going to point to this thing right here. We haven't even talked about it. On for about 50 minutes. Haven't talked about it at all, but I play for this band called Downstate. Do you watch WWE at all? Do you watch wrestling at all?
Unfortunately, that was one of the few things about my childhood that I never latched on to. I was very much more of a Star Wars and Spider-Man kind of kid.
So, Downstate, wild, but Downstate does some of the biggest wrestling entrance themes. WWE champion Cody Rhodes, song called Kingdom. The band does that song. It's got almost 70 million streams on Spotify. Yeah, man.
Damn.
We got like 700,000 monthly listeners. The Miz, Mike the Miz Mazzanin, like we do his song, I Came to Play. People be like, wait, you play drums for that band? I was playing drums for Zach Miller, former tight end of the Chicago Bears, at this place called the Old Crow Smokehouse in Chicago. Lead singer of Downstate walked in. They're from Fort Wayne. He was in town for like a bachelor party or something. Drunk, walked in with a buddy, was like, I like the way this guy hits his snare drum. What?
It is very important.
Zach Miller of the Bears walks in, goes, I like the way this guy hits his snare drum. Gets Zach's attention. Zach Miller and Zach Call of Downstate. They're talking. Zach Miller brings Zach Call on stage, and Zach Miller goes, "Hey man, who are you? You're probably somebody." And Zach Call goes, and he goes, "It's kind of weird. I'm like a singer-songwriter, but," and Zach Miller goes, "Well, what do you do? Anything we'd be familiar with?" And Zach Call goes, like, "Do you watch wrestling at all? Like WWE?" and I'm like, and he goes, "Yeah, you know the WWE champion, Cody Rhodes?" And I'm like, "Brother, are you in Downstate?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's my band. Like, Downstate, I'm lead singer of Downstate." And I was like, "Dude, 2 nights in a row, you had 80,000 people singing your song." He's like, "Yeah, I know, I was there."
Oh, shit.
Like WrestleMania, brother. Like, he's like, "Yeah," like, and I was like, "Oh," he's like, "Dude, I like the way you hit your drum, man. I think I'm gonna need that for our band." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "No, I'm serious. Let's exchange information." So we exchanged information. Yeah. We kept with each other. I did like a 3 or 4 gig stint. And when I woke up, I had the world's worst migraine. I couldn't see. I wanted to die. But
yeah.
I had to drive to Fort Wayne for an audition. I can't believe I got in my car and drove to that audition, man. Like, they'll hear this at some point, but I almost I couldn't get out of bed. Like, I couldn't. I had been working all week to go to Fort Wayne to audition. I somehow got out of bed, man. I drove the 4.5 hours to Fort Wayne. I showed up. We played 4 songs, about a half hour. I went upstairs to go to the bathroom. I went to my car to grab something, and Zach came out and he's like, "Yeah, man, you got the gig." I was like, "Whoa." He's like, "Yeah, we've already auditioned like 7 different drummers. None of them fit the vibe. None of them fit anything." He's like, "You're the guy." He's like, "You're in." I was like, "Whoa, okay, cool." So we've been writing. We've been, it's funny because it's really quick. It's like somebody needs something and we need to turn it around real fast when it comes for wrestlers. But when it comes to the writing of like our actual songs, we can take our time and write some stuff. So the plan is to put out songs and, have an upcoming album, because Downstate hasn't released an album in a while. It's been quite a while. I don't even want to tell you how long it's been, but it's been a while since Downstate has actually released an album. So that's something we're working towards. We're writing songs, we're doing stuff, but man, like, we've got AEW wrestlers, we've got TNA wrestlers, we've got WWE wrestlers. That's kind of what we're doing. We just released a song for Baron Corbin, who is an NFL player, WWE wrestler for 10 years, just released. And now he's in the independent scene, and we got a new track for him. It's actually out. Matt Heafy from Trivium sang on it. Pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, no, fucking that's absolutely
right.
I'm like in shock right now, because that's like, holy shit.
So it's like, that's funny, man. You and I talk about how DJ, bingo host, drummer, I've just got so many different things that I like to do, and not to say I like to make money, dude, who doesn't? But it's like, I like to do what I like to do, and I like to have fun, and I want to make people happy. So like, the Downstate gig is great because, dude, we just did the Chris Jericho cruise, got to hang out with some bands for a week, and we've got a big show coming up. I can't announce it yet because it hasn't been announced, but a huge band we're opening up for July.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but then this other thing that I wanted to promote real quick, Flower Sidorian, my old band.
Okay.
3 of my best friends on planet Earth. It's defunct now, but they were groomsmen for, my wedding. Obviously, nothing here anymore. It don't matter. Life's much better now. We won't talk about that. It's just, all I'm gonna say is, if you go through something, don't give up on yourself, ever. Don't give up on yourself, man. Like, life gets really hard sometimes. It gets really, 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 really hard. And you go through things. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Believe in yourself. Do better every day. Don't do better than the person next to you. Just do better than you every day.
Yes.
But yeah, three of my groomsmen, from three of my best friends, man. Three dudes that I grew up with. Flowers for Dorian. We're gonna play like a 20-year like anniversary reunion kind of thing. So I'm gonna have some info for that coming up at some point. But I want to get the feelers out that Flowers for Dorian is gonna start. It's gonna start jamming again, which is pretty sick.
Sweet. Well, dude. Oh, I'm gonna have to go back through your entire discography at this point. Just because
my website, marcesses.com, marcesses.com. Dude, it's got everything. It's got old bands like Ivory Wave and Odd Couple, and all the Flowers for Dorian stuff is on there. I've got videos that people probably haven't seen, just random stuff. I've got all the bands that I've been in, all the people that I've played for, all my shows, like everything's up there.
right.
My shows are usually always up to date. So like I try and get people to know, hey, it's as simple as typing in marcesses.com in your Safari or whatever you're using for your browser.
I have a question for you. All right.
Yes.
Unrelated, but that's what we're here to do, really. So where what endorsements do you have, and then like when did they come along? Because I know that like typically they don't want to sponsor any kind of like artist or give out endorsements for anybody who plays any less than 150 shows a year as like kind of like a baseline. So
I'm gonna cut you off.
Okay.
I don't really have any. I have a shoe endorsement, and I only use those shoes when I'm playing really, really fast pedal work. If I'm playing in Night Spice, if I'm doing the downstate, I don't really need them. When I was playing in For the Fallen Dreams, I needed them, man. Some of that footwork was really intense, and I needed the grip of these shoes. Vratum, an amazing company. Vratum. If you play double bass more than like 180 beats per minute, Vratum, man. Buy some Vratum shoes. They're like gloves for your feet. They're great.
Really?
But beyond that, I don't have any endorsements. What's cool is my buddy Ryan Trin, social media guy. I don't know. Let's take a look here because I'm curious. Let's take a look. Ryan Trin. He plays drums for Of Virtue. One of my best friends on planet Earth, Damon Tate, Of Virtue. Got 100. So Ryan Trin, who plays drums, 159,000 Instagram followers. He's a good buddy of mine. He's from Canada. He helps me out with some gear, man. He helps me out with some drumsticks and some heads and like the snare wires and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah, and then as far as cymbals go, my boy Josie at Sweetwater, he just takes care of me, man.
I've seen you post some pictures and just have just general posts from visiting the Sweetwater. What is it? The factory headquarters?
Yeah, it's the headquarters. Find yourself a very, very good artist rep, a guy who just knows what he's doing, and ride along with him because he's going to take care of you.
Really? Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. But also, if there are any companies out there who are looking for a Chicagoland artist to endorse, I would recommend this fucking guy right here. Because you're doing fucking work, man. You're putting in the legwork. Are you big on gear or because I've met Sugarfoot, Jonathan Moffat, and I've also met Luke Holland, and what both of them have kind of like hinted at is that it doesn't fucking matter, bro. You can write a whole album on your fucking lap. You know what I mean? And
it does.
So I was wondering, like, how do I personally like, getting into the ins and outs of gear, especially when you're talking about like what kind of like project you're trying to tailor to. Are you a big gearhead, or what's your take on that?
I buy gear if it makes me more money. Like I put more money into more gear that makes me more money. So my big thing, I currently, for the first time ever, I have 3 sets of non-broken Zildjian cymbals. 3 complete different sets of Zildjian cymbals for the first time ever. I had never had one set of unbroken Zildjian cymbals. And now I have 3. I've got 9 snare drums. I've got 5 drum kits, 2 of which are electric. I like gear because I make more money than I can afford it now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I guess that's
yeah.
I guess that's the thing.
That is the goal. I mean, I always try to.
And Holland are right. It don't matter.
Yeah. I mean, I always
feel is feel. Feel is feel.
True, and it does, like, I mean, especially one of the things that I had to kind of come to terms with when I was like brainstorming some of the, basically like the way that it went is like for the first couple of songs I just kind of like got the idea out there
It's a killer call.
And then just fucking then hands off, let my drummer Brad take the reins and kind of finish things out.
Guitarist,
but
let your
it doesn't matter.
Guitarists, let your drummers write their own drum parts if they fit the song. Oh,
you ever had someone come to you with some shit that like is definitely programmed that no human could play ergonomically?
Not only that, like, buddy, if I want to play a fill here and it fits with the thing in the space and it's not taking away from the song, the way that I work now is space. Is there space to fill, and do you want to fill it? It doesn't always need to be full. But
absolutely,
I like space, and I like syncopation, and I like certain things. If you have a drummer, let the drummer write his parts. Like I like when guitarists write a song, and then they go, hey, here's this thing. Cool. This is the feel you want.
Right.
This is not the actual part that I'm going to write.
Right.
Understood. It's a big thing with me. Like, I wish I had more time to write drums for people.
Right.
Because sometimes I hear stuff, that I don't like to hear. Did I actually hear the guitarist say that, or did I hear the singer say that? Oh, no. Downstate, they let me do whatever I want. Sometimes I'll be like, I don't want to do anything. That song's perfect.
Right.
Like Justin will send a song with drums. You want to change anything? No.
Yeah, I have that relationship with my drummer Brad. Shout out to Brad Hurley. But I have that experience with him. Like, he'll be like, honestly, you haven't sent me a single song I ever. You've never sent me a song I dislike. So yeah, man, I'm kind of down for whatever. But I'm like, no, but like, come on, like, write your parts, man, because I want you in on it. You know what I mean? Like,
what's cool about Night Spice, you'll enjoy this. Kevin gives me the blueprint with pretty much a 4 on the floor. He'll give me a blueprint with no fills. He'll give me like a groove. Like, he'll give me the song. Right. Hey, I wrote the song. And then they'll have a drum part, program drums, obviously. Right. But I'll say, this is the kind of feel I want. Have fun. Yeah. And then I'll send it back to him, and he'll be like, this is a little ridiculous. Let's pull this back, or hey, let's do this. Yeah. Most of the time, he's like, dude, this is sick. I love it. And it's cool because I'm not going to take away from my other Night Spice members, but I'm the only other Night Spice member that gets to record and write his stuff.
Yeah. So it becomes difficult when you enter the age of streaming and you're like literally splitting a bunch of different. You're like splitting pennies or fractions of penny.
I don't care about that. I'll have 28 people on royalties for a song. My point more being, Kevin kind of writes the song, and then once the song is written, there's not much left for, say, Teddy or Nick to do on it. Now, if Teddy wants to write his own song and throw it over to Kevin, like Armin, our old bass player, did that. He wrote something, and that became a song called Plums, which Kevin and Armin wrote together. Right. But I have the luxury of getting the song and then being able to do what I want on the percussive side, which is cool. Flowers for Dorian is just 4 friends, man. That's really all it is. But I slaying guitars, great rhythm section, but I'd be lying if I told you that Flowers for Dorian, I wasn't the driving force that pushed everything forward. And it's because they trusted in me to do what I do.
Well, the responsibility of a drummer is like so much more weight than people even give it credit for. And it's already given a whole lot of weight in the sense of like, your band is only as good as your drummer. But one of the things that you really do is you make it explosive, but within a format that is also easy for a casual listener to understand and vibe with. Like obviously you guys have like different meter kind of shit, but what I mean is like when it is in 4/4, you got like it's all in the pocket. It's all in that drive, and like you always kind of keep like a little bit of swing, but you also have like the metal technicality kind of down packed with the fractals, like two on the feet, 4 on the hands, or vice versa, or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, but. And any drummer who has taken like, more advanced lessons will also know what we're talking about.
Yep.
But the way that you just have it come back and land on that one is just so fucking tasty. And that was what drew me into your playing style from the very first show that I saw.
Drummers, figure out what tempo you're playing in. Figure out what time signature you're playing in so that you always know where one is. Yeah. It's so important, dude. People go, I can't jam. It's only because you don't know where one is. You don't know what the count is. If somebody goes, hey, play me 12 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, until you hit 12, 2, or 11, 2, 3, 4, 12. Right. Boom. You just did 12 bars, man. So it's just like you need to know where you are and what you're doing to be able to jam. I tell people this a lot because we live in an age where it's super easy to make fucking fun of people. Stop it, man. Everybody out there, stop making fun of people. Why? What are we doing? Do better. But with that being said, we live in an age where it's so easy to make fun of people, where people don't want to suck. Dude, embrace the suck. Embrace sounding terrible to get something good. If you have to sit over here and jam the same thing at a slow tempo for an hour to get it, do it. Like, don't be afraid of judgment. No fear, no judgment. That's what I was talking about in the beginning. Don't be afraid to suck, dude. Like, my voice is incredible. If somebody were to come up to me and be like, sing, I would sing you the worst thing you've ever heard in your entire life. Dude, I'm best at like 2 hours, man. Like, oh my gosh.
But that's not true, because I have heard you sing while you're at some of your DJ sets, and you're not fucking bad, man. I remember looking through a video. I was scrolling through my feed.
Don't get me wrong. Let me stop you there. My voice is incredible, but I need to know that I'm singing today. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like I need to know, I got to cough out all this phlegm. Dude, like you see singers, you see musicians, you see athletes. You see a lot of athletes spitting. Oh, that's gross. No, it's not. They can't breathe. They can't breathe. They literally, you get mouthy. You're oh my gosh, like I can't. And you spit out a fat loogie. Sorry for anybody who thinks that's gross. It's just what we do. Singers, musicians, athletes, anybody who's running at a high cardio, you have to spit because you get mouthy. You get phlegmy. You get
no, okay, so to you just made me think of this. So the reason, right around the time that I saw the video that I'm talking about, where you were like singing at one of your DJ sets, I was also playing drums and singing in rapping in PunkBordello, and one of the reasons I had to like wait like a year, put down the sticks to find like a live drummer, is because I'd be dripping and fucking. Like if I was wearing this shirt, I'd sweat all the way through it, and it would just be fucking like slot. Like I just jumped in a fucking pool. And if you ever want to hear it, I have a story in New Orleans about how someone stole a shirt like that from me. It's fucking gross, bro. But anyway, yeah. So I would be dripping in sweat, and then I'd see you do it so effortlessly at your DJ set, and I'm just like fucking goddamn it, bro. Like I'm sitting here just trying.
It's not effortlessly. I got a lady, and she'll be like, you make it seem like it's the easiest thing on the planet. Oh my gosh, it's not. It's just muscle memory. I've just been doing it for a long time. So I just know the ins and outs. I know when I fuck something up to make you be like, oh, that was a really cool little thing you just did there.
Happy little accidents, as Bob Ross would put it.
Here's what I'm gonna say. If I could summarize everything and anything, love always, stop making fun of people, work hard, work really hard, man. Work really, really hard. Nothing is just handed to you. Get out of your own way, man. Like, stop stressing about people and things that don't add. Here's a good one.
Okay.
If they don't add or multiply to your life, if they only divide or subtract, they should not be in your life.
That's why you got to keep your circle small. But you actually brought me to another question. So, fuck, I forgot it. Sorry, it's the ADHD kicking in. But but yeah. So I mean, fucking. So have you promoted everything so far that you got coming up? You want to do a quick recap on everything you got coming through as like a last message?
Actually, no, we could talk about it. So we're starting to get into wedding season. So I'm going to have some weddings coming up. A big thing that I do is DJing weddings. Dude, I just like making people happy, man.
Yeah.
I just do. Like it's the fact that somebody would have me on the most important day of their life, like that's everything to me. You know,
it's something you take seriously, of course.
It is. Yeah. It's something I take extremely serious. And you know, so we're coming up to wedding season. Nice Place has got some cool shows coming up. We've got some Hail the Sun shows. We got one in Iowa City at Wildwood. Oh my gosh, great barbecue place. This is an awesome venue. My mom, it's on Mother's Day. My mom's coming out to that one. Excited for that.
My weakness is barbecue.
We got one at Graywall Hall in Lansing in May. So we got two cool shows supporting Hail the Sun. And then, like I said, Downstate has a really big show coming up that I have not promoted yet. Flowers, we're going to do like a 20-year thing. It's going to be big. And then we're going to do another thing after that. There's going to be some stuff coming up, man. I keep busy. I joined this media company, Burwood Media, where I do the Emo Night Brooklyn.
Right.
So I host the Emo Night Brooklyn. Dude, some of these crowds are huge, man. Up to 1,000 people, 1,200.
What is the Emo Night Brooklyn? What is that?
Music, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and people go wild. I did one at Graywall Hall in Lansing, and there was like 700 people, and it was insanity.
What kind of picks do you got in that set? Obviously, you got to have like the R&B, like 2000s smash hits. But like
anything you would think, anything from Taking Back Sunday, Story of the Year, the Used.
It's Emo Night. Duh, I'm talking about fucking R&B. My bad.
Then I do a disco night. Gimme Disco that I just love. I love it. There's really only 3 hours of disco that people actually know, so it's a cool gig because like. You start at 7, you end at 10. You start at 9, you end at midnight, and that 3 hours, like it works perfectly.
Really?
Like there's really only 3 hours of disco. I will reiterate it over and over again. There's really only 3 human to live hours of disco that almost everybody knows. That get down on it to the brick house.
Okay, all right.
Oh gosh, like all those songs. Stay alive.
Of course, yeah.
Exactly. I could do a medley of each one, but it's like an ABBA-inspired disco party. But dude, I've been really enjoying that. I just enjoy entertaining. And to anybody who's trying to entertain, you want me to leave you with something?
I actually do. This isn't a question I was going to ask previously, but it did bring me to a question I wanted to ask you. So, like, real quick,
Yeah.
like, so when you're DJing, like, how do you, what the fuck do you do with, like, to, like, actually do those transitions, like, in actually, because it brings me to some other ideas that I won't go into right now, but I, I really like the way that you're bringing it together like a DJ and then also drumming to it, like how the like ergonomically with your fucking hands, like how do you do that?
Okay, so let's back up a little bit. Since you've seen me, I've actually gotten rid of the drums. I don't even use the drums really when I DJ anymore.
Really?
I,
Okay.
I don't have to. I don't have to. I've gotten to a point where a microphone and a DJ controller and a stage is really all I need. Now, don't get me wrong. I love doing the solo drum DJ set where I drum and DJ at the same time. I love it.
Was that scary for you, like making that transition, like from I mean, I'm sure it's nothing to you. You've been doing it plenty of years at this point. Oh,
No,
I
no,
remember my previous
do it.
question now.
Do it.
So so as you've gained like all this success, um, and you're continuing to book work, you got like, I mean, I lost count of how many fucking cool things you're working on that you're fucking, promoting. But like it seems like you're still never you're never stopping to challenge yourself. But when the money comes, does it give you any kind of like peace of mind in like do you have a little bit more security than you might have had when you're like 22, 23? I mean,
I'll give you a little bit more of an emotional answer for this one. I'm never content. Um,
well, if
I
you can't necessarily, because then you'll
but
stop
you have
challenging yourself, right? But
but it is at some point you have to be, and I'm starting to learn this more and more that if you can't stop and smell the roses, what's it all for? What are you
right.
doing it for? Like, if you can't stop and be like, dude, we just
If you can't
played.
stop and be, I'm so sorry, you cut out just a little bit.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, if you can't stop and be like, dude, we just played a sold out show at Rock House where I played my first show there over 20 years ago. Like, if you can't stop and just enjoy that moment for a second, like, whoa, slow down.
Right.
Um, so like the emotional answer to what you like where you're getting at, I have to stay busy because my mind, my brain, like my soul, my brain, my body, everything in me doesn't allow me to be like, okay, we're good. We're gonna take a little break. No, like next man up. It's always been next man up though. Like, in the wrestling world, somebody gets injured.
Right.
Next man up. In the sports world, QB goes
Right.
down. Bring in the backup QB. You're not riding the
Yep.
bench anymore, buddy. You're in. So
That's
it's like,
true.
it's next man up. It's always what's next? What's next? Some of my colleagues, some of my teammates, some of my partners will get upset because my next man up mentality actually means next man up. So what is tomorrow? If tomorrow is Night Spice, downstate is not on my mind. If tomorrow is downstate, Night Spice is not on my mind. If the next
Right.
thing I have is a DJ set, that DJ set is the next thing that I'm doing. I'm going to crush that. And then I'm going to move to the next thing that I have. I've alleviated a lot of stress by not focusing on too many things at once. Somebody goes, hey, I need some drum tracks. Well, those aren't on the docket yet, buddy. You're going to have to wait for
Yeah.
this. And then once those three things are out of the way, then we work on these drum tracks.
Right.
Sometimes things are a little bit more pressing, but yeah, no, I just I'm hungry, man.
Yeah. I totally understand because I share that same perspective. What are some ways that you have had to kind of like put the brakes on, like, because I feel like personally, like in my younger years, I struggled with like addiction and that sort of thing. But like as I've grown older, I've used being busy with music and everything else as a way to, keep me out of trouble, keep me working towards something,
Yeah.
giving myself goals. But I have also had to like kind of like take a step back and be like, oh no, sometimes it's time away. I always say, time away is just as important as time spent. So I've had to kind of like take myself back and be like, duh, I mean, I'm in the middle of fucking doing a lot of work, but like, fuck, I'm starving and I have been for the last 3 hours. So maybe just put the guitar down
For
and
about
just
a
fucking
year.
go make yourself some food, that sort of thing.
So for about a year, Monday was Shabbos. Don't call me. Don't text me. I'm not getting in my car. I'm not. I'm not doing anything. Like, have you ever seen the movie The Big Lebowski?
Yeah.
There's like where he doesn't roll on Saturday.
Yeah.
Fucking roll. Like it's Shomer Shabbos. Like it's Shabbos. Shomer Shabbos. Shomer Shabbos. He does
I love
not
that fucking
work on
movie so much.
Saturday, right? I don't
Right.
work on Monday. Like now I'll do a little bit more. Like tomorrow, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
down to Bloomington. I'm gonna hang out with my buddy Kyle, who's the stage manager for Under Oath. He's Matt Halpern from Peripheries, drum tech, good friend of mine.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go down, hang out with him, watch Under Oath, Funeral Portrait, who are good buddies of mine. They're playing the show too.
Nice.
So I'm just gonna take a drive down to Bloomington, watch some good music. But normally on a Monday, I wouldn't even get out of bed until Monday Night Raw starts, buddy. Like, like 6 p.m. Like, all right, I'm feeling good. But that's how I would refresh a lot. And then I would give myself, hey, let's step away from the drums for a couple of days to get some new ideas, to let some things kind of mold and build. So one thing that I do want to touch on, because I don't make enough of a point about it, people watch me.
I would assume so.
You're out of your mind. Yeah. Okay. You're nuts. Yeah. How do you do it? Like, how do you do it? Like, you're fucking crazy. I have no shame. If you even have a little bit of shame, barring a miracle or really big support team, you will not succeed in this business. If you care what people think about you, you will not succeed in this business. If you listen to keyboard warriors, oh my God, there's a lot of them. Keyboard warriors, get punched in the face once, please. Just please, please know how it feels to actually get hurt so that you can go, oh wow, these words hurt. I don't want to do this anymore. If you have shame and you can't listen to people talking shit, if you can't have haters, you can't be in this business.
True.
You can't get out. My number one thing that I say to people, if you can't get over the fact that people are going to make fun of you all the time, dude, I'm 5'2". I'm half Jewish. Like if you look at me, like, yeah, it's not like it. Come on, buddy. I'm saying, like, there's a lot of things to make fun of me about, but there's also a lot of things to enjoy about me. I want people
Like, fucking your long flowing mane and your fucking sick ass tattoos. Like
ELE always, man. Like, I'm gonna keep saying it, dude. Don't go to a show, hoping for somebody to fail. You want everybody to succeed. Dude, the better DJs do, the more I'm going to get paid. The better the music industry does, the better I do. Like, get better at your instrument. If one of your things is worried about other people taking your space, get better at what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, I would stand behind that like 100%. Absolutely. That
Believe
is
in what you do and you believe that you have something to offer and you're going to keep working on it, then you have nothing to worry about, man.
And I think so. I talked about this in my first podcast episode. And what I said is that one of the things that intimidates a lot of people is nobody cares and that whole mentality. But what I said is that
It's true.
It's a liberating truth because it is true. But once you accept that nobody cares, then you can just move in a direction that you care about.
Travis Barker once said, "Nobody cares. Go harder. Nobody cares.
Exactly.
Work harder. Nobody cares. Work harder." And look at him now. He's one of the biggest producers on planet Earth. He's Travis Barker.
He's like the most legendary drummer of our time at this point.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because people outside of his genre, they like people know it's almost like an effect like Metallica. Like you might not like their music, you might not be into it, but everybody from the world over knows their name is the thing. Like that's a different level of kind of carving out success for yourself. And especially after what Travis went through with the whole plane crash, to come back from that and then fucking, you know what I mean? Like he's in a lot of people's minds as the GOAT, and especially when it comes to drumming. I mean, I know one of I remember Blink being one of the first bands where I listened to the fucking drummer, and was like,
it was funny because we'll talk about that and then get us to the climax, baby. But before that, Neil, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And then Chad Sexton from 311. And then Travis Barker from Blink-182. And then Aaron Gillespie from Under Oath. Aaron Gillespie from Under Oath. I won't tell Kyle that because then he won't give me any more guest lists, But Aaron's like everything to me. I've seen him twice in the last 6 months. I'm about to see him a third time tomorrow. I don't even talk to him because I'm not there for that. I'm there because when I watch him play, I feel something. I'm there because when I watch him play, it means something to me. So, you go from Neil to Chad to Travis to Aaron, and then it's just the gospel chops drummers, man. Like it's the guys who can chop out. So Todd Zuckerman pissed me off because I couldn't do anything that he was trying to explain. That's my fault. That's my fault. I need to get better, right? Didn't we talk about this? That if something is bothering you, well, that just means you need to get better at your instrument, get better at your craft. Todd Zuckerman, thank you for.
But taking accountability, like how you just did, is a big part of making that first step. Because
admit that you're wrong.
Exactly.
You do better.
Yeah, because I mean, you meet. I as a drummer, I've met so many people in different bands who are kind of caught up in their own fucking delusion, and then I end up being, the kind of person outside that's like, wait, you got to be real with yourself first. Like, what are you doing trying to impress this fucking random gas station attendant? But then you won't sign his fucking napkin when he gives you free coffee. Like, what the fuck? Like, like what kind of an asshole do you need to be? Like, you just disrespected somebody who was trying to believe in you. You know what I mean? It's like anyway. But I meet a lot of those people, and it's like the first thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way about them is the fact that they can't take accountability for themselves, and they always feel the need to blame outside of them. And if you can't own it, then you're not going to work on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you just end up in the same negative feedback loop, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But I think right here would be like the perfect spot to kind of cut it off. So what I'd like to do is, put that first hour out for for YouTube in the normal episode. And then I'm kind of working on putting everything on my Patreon, so it gives people more of an incentive to, watch the podcast early, as well as, show their support and that whole deal. But I did, I mean, we just kind of flew through this. I was hoping, like, damn, I hope we can do an hour. And then, here we are, an hour and a half.
Oh, we could have talked
That's
for
good.
another 2 hours, man. There's so much stuff to talk about. It's just, what do people want to even listen to at this point?
Right. Well, and I mean, I'm sure, my girlfriend just got home from work, so she's in the other room. She's probably just like, this fucking, like, there's just drummers talking about their fucking da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like, she's probably sick of it by now. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut us off right here, and I'll, obviously say a word to you when we're done. But for everybody listening to the Punk Bordello podcast, thank you for tuning in. Again, my guest is Marc Esses, I think best known as the drummer for Night Spice. I just has a nice ring to it. But hopefully we can have you again. And I really want to say I appreciate you for coming on. It really means the world to me, as almost a dream come true to just fucking pick your brain and shit.
I appreciate being here. We'll do let's do a recap. Let's get you a couple more episodes, and we'll do a recap in 6 months or something like that.
Absolutely, man. That sounds like a fucking bet to me. And I mean, shit. I mean, we can keep talking, but here's where the episode ends, because I'm sure we could just fucking keep going.
I more just wanted, dude. I'm gonna leave you with this. This is how we'll leave it. I get so much. We all do, right, as entertainers, but I get so much hate for people. Like, I get so much hate from people who know nothing about me. So my biggest thing is learn more about the people that you don't like, I guess. Learn, why don't you like them? What's bothering you about them?
Have you ever heard of tall poppy syndrome?
No.
So tall poppy syndrome is the psychological term for basically when somebody you give them no reason to dislike you. You don't do anything wrong to them, but for some reason they still fucking despise you. And the reason, basically what it is because they don't like something about themselves, they don't want to address that within themselves, and as a result they punish you harder for it. So you could continue to be like fucking, a fucking angel to them, and they'll still just fucking fuck you. You know what I mean? And it's literally because the way that you are and the way that you carry yourself threatens their sense of self. And so because they don't want to address that, they just double down on hating you.
So this is what I'll say about that. I focused a lot of what we talked about today on just being more positive, being more accepting, having a better outlook on things, being just more caring, being just less hate. Now, next time when we meet up and we talk, we'll talk some more business stuff. We'll talk, some different things. But today I just really wanted to put it out there. Love always. It's always this. I don't go out on stage and do this for no reason. I love you. Thank you for being here. Like, it means everything. So, love more, do better. That's all I'm going to say. That's what I'll leave the people with. Whatever you want to say.
Sure.
But that's my message.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and double down. I'll stand behind that. I'll make that my part of my message as well. Marc Esses, everybody. All right. Take it easy. We'll see you next week.
Boom.